From the depths of the alien High Council's observation chamber, horror and disbelief ripple as the savage Earth warship obliterates the pristine fleet with terrifying efficiency. Alien commanders grapple with the incomprehensible brutality, while a human commander watches silently, counting down to total annihilation. The stage is set for a brutal shift in galactic power. The observation chamber was silent, except for the low hum of energy monitors and the sharp breaths of council delegates. Crystal consoles shimmered under dim violet light, casting long shadows over the faces of the Eldrin Council. They gathered, adorned in intricate robes embroidered with star maps, each representing a great interstellar dominion. Above them, a vast viewport displayed the jagged specks of human warships, filthy, irregular, and utterly alien, prowling their sacred space. Councillor Zerthos's mandibles twitched. "Is this a mistake? That vessel should be under quarantine. Our scans showed primitive weapons, outdated hulls." "It's not a mistake," Councillor Morell hissed, his 6 eyes narrowing as the screen exploded in bursts of fire. "They've breached the perimeter and taken down 3 frigates in seconds. How?" In the center, the youngest delegate, barely out of initiation, visibly paled. "The Earthlings. They use what they call Deathworld tactics. They've been branded savages, but this—" His voice cracked as the flagship disintegrated in a silent cascade of antimatter plasma. "This is war." Zerthos stared, disbelief shaking his voice. "Savages. They've just annihilated our best fleet with primitive, brutal force." "Primitive?" Another voice growled. Commander Ilara, watching the battle from a human orbital command station. Her gaze was cold steel behind the visor of her suit. "That's exactly what they want you to think. Primitive? We call it evolutionary brutality." Below her, the jagged silhouette of their flagship, Savage Dawn, cut through the void like a predator. Nanofiber armor shimmered faintly, cloaked with electromagnetic pulses that turned enemy sensors to static. The ship's gravity well projectors twisted space itself, disorienting the alien vessels. "Commander," her science officer said, voice taut, "they're attempting to flank from the starboard quadrant, but the nanotech shields are holding." Ilara's gloved fingers tapped a code sequence into the console. "Activate silent EMP cascade. Let's see how their fancy energy grids handle a blackout." Back in the council chamber, panic grew. The alien flagship's communications went dead, and the next second, a thunderous wave of energy erupted across the battle zone. Ships shuddered as systems failed, weapons went dark, and navigation blinked out. The youngest councillor gasped. "They're EMPs! But Earth shouldn't have developed tech this advanced." "Maybe they never stopped evolving," Zerthos muttered, sweat beading his brow. "Or maybe their reputation as savages is a deliberate lie." Ilara watched the chaos unfold, biting back a smile. The humans had waited decades, quietly rebuilding on their Deathworld home, harsh, unforgiving, breeding only the strongest, the smartest, and the most ruthless. She keyed a comm channel. "This is Commander Ilara. You underestimated Earth's fury. Consider this your last warning." Then silence fell. Her voice broke the void. "Savage, no. We are survival incarnate. We are the Deathworld." And with a final pulse, the Savage Dawn tore through the alien fleet's remnants, a dark comet of vengeance. As the shattered alien fleet retreats, the humans on Savage Dawn brace for the brutal aftermath. Commander Ilara leads a boarding party onto a drifting enemy cruiser, uncovering terrifying alien technology and evidence of a galaxy-wide conspiracy to contain humanity. Meanwhile, the Alien Council reels in disbelief, plotting vengeance against a species they declared extinct. The cold calculus of survival sharpens into a deadly game. The void stretched cold and infinite outside the shattered hull of the alien cruiser, Virilix. Its broken silhouette drifted like a ghost among the glowing debris of its fleet, silent testimony to the savage assault Earth's warships had inflicted. Commander Ilara stared at the drifting ruin through the viewport of the savage dawn. Her jaw clenched. "Prepare the boarding pods," she ordered. "We're going to find out exactly what secrets they hid behind that fragile arrogance." Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Vega, nodded sharply. "Sensors detect low-level power. Signatures still active. Possibly automated systems or survivors." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Good. We'll need answers and hostages." The pods detached with smooth precision, ghosting toward Virilix's battered hull. Inside the cramped space, Ilara's team of elite Marines checked their pulse rifles and nano-armor suits, ready for anything. The air was tense with quiet adrenaline. "Remember," Ilara's voice was steady, "we're not just soldiers. We're ambassadors of Earth's wrath. Take no prisoners, but gather intel. Every bite we recover could save lives." The pod docked with a hiss. The airlock opened onto a dark corridor lit by flickering emergency lights, casting grotesque shadows. On the twisted alien architecture, the faint hum of damaged systems echoed through the halls. "Move out," Ilara whispered. Inside, they encountered silence broken only by distant metallic groans. The alien cruiser was a nightmare of unfamiliar tech. Gravity manipulation cores humming faintly, bioorganic control panels pulsating softly, and crystalline data nodes flickering in alien script. Vega approached one node. "These are memory cores. If we can hack them, we get the fleet's logs." Ilara's tech specialist, Cadet Rin, slid forward with a sleek console. "Give me a minute. Their encryption is adaptive, but I've seen worse." Suddenly, a faint signal blared from deeper inside the ship, a distress beacon coded in an archaic galactic standard. Ilara's heart quickened. Survivors. Oh, she guessed. Or a trap, Vega cautioned, weapon raised. They advanced, the shadows growing darker, the air heavier. Around a corner they found a sealed chamber. Inside, a handful of aliens, wounded, desperate but alive, were clustered. Around a pulsating device, Ilara stepped forward, weapon lowered but ready. "You're prisoners now. Tell me what your council planned against Earth." One of the aliens, a gaunt officer named Sharin, spat in disdain but spoke in broken common. "You think this is war? We sought containment, not annihilation." "Earth is a contagion," Ilara's voice hardened. "Containment. You branded us savages, pushed us to the brink, then gasped when we fought back." Sharin sneered. "Your Deathworld bred monsters. You survive where others perish. You threaten the balance of this galaxy." Rin interrupted. "Commander, this device, it's a prototype gravity bomb, capable of collapsing star systems." Ilara's eyes darkened. "So your containment was genocide?" The aliens looked away, defeated, back on the savage dawn as the boarding party secured prisoners and data cores. Ilara's mind raced. This was no ordinary war. The Council had feared humanity enough to consider wiping entire systems. But why? She activated the ship's encrypted comm line. "This is Commander Ilara. Earth's survival is a warning to the galaxy. Underestimate us, and you invite oblivion." The transmission was interrupted abruptly, a pulse of electromagnetic interference shaking the ship. "EMP attack?" Vega's voice was tense. "From where? We're cloaked." Rin's console beeped urgently. "Multiple signatures, small. Craft approaching fast." The savage dawn shuddered as warning sirens blared. "Prepare for battle," Ilara ordered. "Deathworld tactics, all systems ready." Meanwhile, on the alien homeworld, the council chamber burned with outrage. "Counselor." Xarthos slammed his fist on the crystal dais. "How did Earth's savages evolve such power unnoticed? They wield weapons that tear stars apart." Councillor Mirel's voice was cold calculation. "They were underestimated because we were blinded by our own superiority. Their Deathworld environment forced evolution beyond comprehension." A younger, now Councillor Trembling asked, Can we negotiate? Is there mercy left for the savage? Zerthos shook his head. Mercy is weakness. They have declared war. Our fleets will be reforged. Their space will be a hunting ground. We will turn their Deathworld into their tomb. The chamber's viewport showed a growing mass of dark warships gathering, Deathworld warships designed to hunt, patrol, and exterminate. Humanity's brutal retaliation was only the beginning. Back in the darkness of space, Savage Dawn's bridge, lit up with the incoming swarm, Ilara's voice cut through the tension. Every second counts. We don't just fight to survive, we fight to prove we belong. The silent countdown in her mind echoed the same promise she'd whispered before. We are the Deathworld. We survive, we conquer. The Savage Dawn faces a brutal assault from the Council's Deathworld warships. Amidst the chaos, Commander Ilara leads a desperate counterattack, pushing her crew and ship to their limits. Meanwhile, on the alien homeworld, fractured factions debate Earth's terrifying resilience. A scientist aboard Savage Dawn uncovers a chilling revelation about the nanotech's origin, forcing humanity to confront a deeper mystery, one that threatens everything they believe about their place in the galaxy. Space was a battleground of twisted light and shattered metal as the Council's Deathworld warships closed in on Savage Dawn. The void around Earth's flagship rippled with the deadly dance of gravity well pulses and electromagnetic storms engineered for destruction. Target vectors locked, Lieutenant Vega reported, eyes flickering over. The holomap. They're using swarm tactics, but their formations are brittle, predictable. Commander Ilara's voice was steady despite the tension. We expected this. Deploy counter-gravity mines and initiate adaptive cloaking in 3, 2... The Savage Dawn shuddered as the first salvo slammed against its reinforced hull. Nanotech fibers writhed like living armor, absorbing the blast and redistributing energy in shimmering waves. The ship's gravity wells twisted, tearing enemy missiles from their trajectories. Hull integrity holding at 97%, reported Rin from engineering, her face pale but determined. Nanotech armor is self-repairing, but this fight is pushing limits. Ilara paced the bridge, heart pounding like a war drum. Communications? Jammed by local gravity distortions, Vega said grimly. No outside help coming. Ilara's jaw tightened. We fight alone then. Deep in the ship's lab, Dr. Leon Harker worked feverishly over the recovered alien tech. The crystalline memory cores hummed faintly as she decrypted streams of data, her eyes widening with every breakthrough. Commander, Leon called over secure comm. You need to see this. Ilara's comm crackled to life. On my way. In the sterile glow of the lab, the commander found Leon staring at a holographic display of strange molecular structures. Nanotech unlike any human design. This isn't just alien tech, Leon explained, voice trembling. It's a genetic nanofabricator. These aren't machines, they're living systems engineered to rewrite organic and inorganic matter. Ilara absorbed the implication. You mean Earth's nanotech might have origins tied to this? Or they reverse-engineered it from our own savage tech? Leon's eyes met Ilara's, shadows flickering. This changes everything. If our tech was born from theirs, or vice versa, then who really started this war? Ilara clenched her fists. It doesn't matter. Now we survive. Outside the ship, the Council's Deathworld warships swarmed like predators. Each vessel was a nightmare fusion of bioorganic plating and ruthless engineering. They twisted through space, emitting a deadly chorus of pulse cannons and gravity disruptors. Councillor Zerthos watched from his war chamber, fury etched into his face. Send in the Legionnaires, no mercy, burn Earth's savage fleets to ash. But, Councillor, another advisor pleaded, their technology is adaptive. We may lose more than we gain. Then we burn the galaxy if we must, Zerthos growled. We cannot allow humanity to spread. They are an infestation. Back on the Savage Dawn, alarms screamed as enemy boarding pods launched. Ilara activated the ship's internal defenses. Magnetic fields surged, sealing bulkheads, and automated turrets ignited with deadly precision. "Boarders incoming, starboard corridor," Vega warned. Ilara grabbed her pulse rifle and sprinted toward the battle zone, her marines close behind. The corridors became a crucible of flame and steel, alien boarding parties clawing through sealed doors, humans fighting with ferocious resolve. In the chaos, Ilara spotted one intruder planting a gravity bomb near the core reactor. Time slowed. As she charged, firing bursts that tore through the biometal skin. The alien fell, but not before triggering the device. "Bombs live," shouted Rin over comm. "Detonates in 60 seconds. Evacuate non-combatants. Prepare emergency protocols," Ilara ordered. "I'll disarm it." With shaking hands, Ilara approached the device, its molecular strands pulsing ominously. Drawing on every ounce of her technical training, she carefully severed a glowing filament. The timer froze at 3 seconds. Breathing hard, Ilara straightened. Bomb neutralized. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, dissent grew. Younger delegates questioned Xaerthos' relentless hatred. "How long can we sustain this war?" one whispered. "Earth's savages adapt faster than predicted," Morel responded coldly. "Adaptation is their only strength. We must strike harder until their savage heart breaks." But another voice rose, a female delegate with fierce eyes. "Or we seek understanding. Perhaps Earth is the galaxy's reckoning, not its enemy." Xaerthos laughed bitterly. "Understanding? They're Deathworld-bred monsters. They do not negotiate, they dominate or destroy." Back aboard the Savage Dawn, Ilara gathered her team. The battle had taken its toll, exhausted marines, flickering systems, and wounded pride. "We've seen what they can throw at us," Ilara said, voice steady but tired. "But they don't understand one thing. Deathworlds don't break. They forge." Vega nodded. "Our enemy fights with cold precision, but we fight with primal fury," Lian added, "and with knowledge. Their nanotech is a clue. Something ancient buried beneath this war." Ilara looked out the viewport at the endless stars. "Tomorrow, we strike back. Not just to survive, but to reclaim our place." The ship's AI softly intoned, "Commander, incoming transmission. Unencrypted." Ilara tensed. "Put it through." A garbled voice crackled, layered with static and menace. "Savage Dawn, you have awoken the galaxy's wrath. You will fall. Earth is a death world, yes, but even death can be extinguished." The comm channel went silent. Ilara's eyes burned. "Then let them try." As Savage Dawn recovers from the fierce attack, Ilara wrestles with the haunting message from the enemy. Scientists uncover startling links between human nanotech and ancient Deathworld biology, exposing a secret genetic legacy. Meanwhile, the alien council fractures, some desperate for peace, others thirsting for annihilation. In a covert mission, a squad of humans ventures into enemy territory to extract vital intel, risking everything to unlock the mysteries behind Earth's savage power. The bridge of the Savage Dawn buzzed with a strange mixture of exhaustion and determination. The alien assault had left scars, cracks in the hull, damaged arrays, and the unmistakable tension of a crew pushed beyond their limits. Ilara stood before the panoramic viewport, watching distant stars blur as the ship limped through dark space. The enemy transmission replayed endlessly in her mind. "Earth is a death world, yes, but even death can be extinguished." What did that mean? Was it a warning, a threat, or a declaration of a far deeper truth? In the medical bay, Dr. Leon Harker reviewed new data streaming from the ship's nanotech labs. Her fingers danced over consoles, displaying molecular sequences and bioengineered structures, fragments of alien DNA integrated into Earth's own genetic code. "Commander," she called quietly, "you need to see this." Ilara entered, eyes sharp despite fatigue. Lian pointed to a hologram, a spiral helix twisted with unfamiliar crystalline filaments. "This is not just alien tech grafted onto ours," Lian said. "It's more symbiotic, ancient genetic material woven into human DNA. Our nanotech isn't just a weapon, it's an echo of Earth's original Deathworld biology." Ilara frowned. "Meaning what? That our technology is alive?" "More than alive," Lian whispered. "It's adaptive on a molecular level, like an organism evolving with us. It responds to threats by transforming itself, like the Deathworld creatures here on Earth." Ilara's mind raced back to the savage biomes, ruthless jungles and toxic deserts, where humanity had first learned to survive. "So we're not just inheritors of Earth," she said slowly. "We're the product of its darkest, deadliest life forms." Lian nodded. "Our ancestors survived because they became part of the Deathworld. We carry that savage code within us." The revelation sent ripples through the ship. Soldiers, engineers, scientists all grappled with the idea that humanity's greatest strength was also its primal curse. In the crew quarters, Sergeant Cade Malin cleaned his rifle, face shadowed by the dim light. "Deathworlds breed killers," he muttered to his squad, "but they also breed survivors." A fresh recruit, wide-eyed, asked, "So what's the plan now?" Cade's lips curled into a grim smile. "We fight smarter, we hit harder, and we make sure they never forget who owns this war." Meanwhile, in the council chamber of the alien empire, divisions deepened. Councillor Zerthos stood tall, his voice booming with ancient rage. "These humans are abominations. Their savage nature makes them unstoppable. We must crush them before they consume the galaxy." But others whispered of negotiation. Councillor Mirel, voice calm yet firm, countered, "Perhaps we have misread them. Their so-called savagery may mask a deeper truth, a survival instinct forged in pain. There could be a way to coexist, or at least understand," Zerthos sneered. "You would offer peace to monsters who burn entire systems? No, they are death incarnate." The debate fractured the council's unity, uncertainty shadowing their grand halls. Back on Savage Dawn, a covert mission was underway. Ilara hand-picked a squad of elite operatives, soldiers, scientists, and tech specialists, for a high-stakes infiltration behind enemy lines. Their goal: capture and recover alien warship schematics rumored to hold the key to disrupting the Deathworld warship's devastating gravity tech. "Extraction window is tight," Ilara briefed. "We hit fast, we hit hard, and we get out before they know what hit them." Among the squad was Dr. Leon, her role critical to decoding any recovered technology. As the stealth pod dropped through the enemy's outer perimeter, tension gripped the team like a vice. Inside the pod, Sergeant Cade gripped his rifle, whispering to himself, "Deathworld breeds killers, but today will be the hunters." The pod's exterior shimmered with cloaking nanotech as it drifted silently toward the alien shipyard. Suddenly, an alarm blared faintly. Gravity pulses disrupted their approach. "Contact," whispered their tech specialist. "Enemy drones. Scanning the perimeter. We need to move now." The hatch opened into the alien ship's core, a labyrinth of biometal corridors pulsating with eerie light. The squad moved with deadly precision, weapons ready. "Keep it tight," Ilara instructed. Voice low but commanding. "Lian, focus on the reactor control. Cade and Vega, cover." Deep inside the shipyard, Lian connected her portable console to the alien system. Data flooded her screen. Complex gravity well generators, nanotech arrays, and cryptic sequences she hadn't seen before. Her breath caught. "This tech, it's tied to our own nanotech lineage. It's like the aliens and humans share a forgotten past." Ilara's voice was tense. "Explain." "The molecular structures match fragments from Earth's oldest fossilized microbes. ones known to survive in the harshest Deathworld conditions. This war isn't just about control, it's about reclaiming a lost heritage. Suddenly alarms blared. "We've been compromised," Cade shouted. "Incoming hostiles!" The squad erupted into chaos, firing as the corridors filled with alien soldiers, bioorganic monstrosities armed with gravity disruptors and plasma blades. The firefight was brutal, each side pushed to the edge, human determination against alien precision. Ilara ducked behind a pillar, voice sharp. "Fall back. To extraction point. Hold the line." Vega's return fire was relentless. "We can't lose that data." Lynn secured the final downloads, sweat beading her brow. "Got it. Uploading to pod." With seconds to spare, the squad fought through waves of enemies, pushing toward the exit. The stealth pod's cloaking flared as they boarded. The pod shot. Away from the alien shipyard, the sounds of battle fading behind. Back on the Savage Dawn, the recovered data was analyzed. It confirmed humanity's deepest fears and hopes, a shared genetic past with the Deathworld species, a primal bond that shaped evolution itself. Ilara sat alone, the weight of command heavy on her shoulders. "They called us savages, but we are the inheritors of death itself," she whispered. The crew prepared for the next wave, knowing the galaxy's darkest war was just beginning. Haunted by their mission's narrow escape, Ilara and her team face escalating alien reprisals. Tensions rise as hidden saboteurs strike within Savage Dawn, threatening to unravel humanity's fragile advantage. Meanwhile, a clandestine Earth faction pushes to unleash an ancient bioweapon, risking catastrophe to claim ultimate power. As trust fractures among the crew, Ilara must confront the ghosts beneath her command, and the dark legacy buried deep in Earth's past. The hum of the Savage Dawn felt colder now, as if the ship itself sensed the shadow creeping in. The aftermath of the alien shipyard raid weighed heavily on every soul aboard. Ilara stood alone on the observation deck, gazing into the black void, her thoughts a tangled web of strategy and doubt. "They are not just enemies," she thought. "They are remnants of an ancient war, our war, and we are caught in the middle." In the command center, a wave of unrest rippled through the crew. "Captain," Lian reported, eyes red-rimmed, "the data from the raid shows anomalies, unexpected. Signals inside our own systems." Ilara's brow furrowed. "Sabotage," Lian nodded grimly. "Someone is inside the ship, tampering with our nanotech arrays." A sudden tremor shook the ship, lights flickering. The alarm system flashed red. "Internal security breach," the PA announced. The corridors of the Savage Dawn twisted like a living thing. Shadows lengthened, and every corner hid uncertainty. Ilara moved swiftly with her security team, their weapons drawn but their faces tight with worry. Who would do this? "Now?" whispered Vega, her voice tense. "Someone who knows us," Ilara answered. "Someone who wants us to fall." In a dim maintenance bay, sparks flew from severed cables. A shadow melted into the darkness. Sergeant Cade caught sight of movement. A fleeting glimpse of a figure clutching a device bristling with nanotech disruptors. "Stop right there!" Cade barked, raising his rifle. The figure darted into the labyrinthine ducts. The chase was on. Back in the science lab, Lian worked feverishly to trace the disruptor signals. "This tech isn't alien," she said, voice shaking. "It's human, modified with alien components." "Who has access to this?" Ilara demanded. "Only a handful of people," Lian said. "But someone's hiding in plain sight." Meanwhile, below decks, a secret faction gathered in whispered and conspiracy. "Commander Ilara doesn't understand the power we wield," said a cold voice. Dr. Merrick Voss, a bioengineer with a shadowed past, stood before a hidden lab. Behind him lay vats of glowing bioweapons, twisted hybrids of nanotech and Deathworld biology. "We could end this war with a single strike," Voss said, eyes gleaming. Unleash the ancient code buried within Earth's deadliest species. Let the galaxy tremble before us. A young officer hesitated. But the risks if we lose control. Voss's smile was ruthless. We will not lose control. Not this time. Ilara's security team finally cornered the saboteur in the ship's deepest maintenance shaft. The figure turned, a familiar face. Lieutenant Rin, her eyes cold with desperation. Ilara, Rin said, voice barely a whisper. You don't understand. This war isn't just about survival, it's about evolution. What are you doing? Ilara demanded. Rin's hand trembled as she activated the disruptor. It's the only way to force the galaxy to respect us, she said, to force peace through power. Before Ilara could react, the device emitted a pulse that sent a shockwave rippling through the ship's systems. Power flickered. Gravity fields warped. The savage dawn shuddered violently. Brace for impact, Ilara shouted, gripping the nearest rail. The corridors flooded with eerie blue light as the nanotech arrays began to destabilize. Lian's voice crackled over comms. We're losing control. The disruptor is breaking down the molecular bonds in our systems. In the chaos, Ilara lunged at Rin, tackling her to the ground. This ends now, Ilara hissed, pinning her former comrade. Rin's eyes burned with a fierce light. We are beyond what you can control. Ilara tightened her grip. No, we decide how humanity survives, not some reckless gambit. The ship's engineers scrambled to stabilize the nanotech arrays. Lian's fingers flew over her console. I'm rerouting power to contain the pulse. It's like patching a wound while it's bleeding. Minutes stretched into eternity as the ship trembled beneath their feet. Finally, the system stabilized. The blue glow faded. Ilara exhaled slowly. Damage report. Minor structural failures, Vega answered. But the crew's shaken. In the aftermath, trust fractured. Ilara stood before her crew, voice steady but heavy. We face enemies outside and shadows within, but this war will not break us. Cade stepped forward, eyes fierce. We fight for Earth's savage legacy, not for reckless ambition. The crew rallied, their resolve hardened like steel. Deep in the hidden lab, Dr. Voss watched the chaos unfold with cold satisfaction. Our time is coming, he murmured. The bioweapons pulsed softly in their vats, ready to awaken. Ilara retreated to the observation deck once more. The stars outside shimmered, indifferent to the turmoil within. She whispered to the void, We are the Deathworld. We survive, we endure, and somewhere beyond the galaxy waited, waiting for the savage truth to ignite. The fragile unity aboard Savage Dawn shatters as betrayals surface, and a devastating bioweapon plot threatens humanity's very soul. Ilara grapples with the weight of command amid rising paranoia. The alien enemies close in, unaware the deadliest threat might come from within, forcing humanity to confront not only external foes, but their darkest instincts. The low hum of Savage Dawn was no longer comforting. It was a reminder of fragility, of a fragile humanity perched precariously on the edge of oblivion. Ilara paced the command deck, her boots barely making a sound on the polished floor. The faces around her were tired, wary, a ship's worth of soldiers and scientists now prisoners of suspicion and fear. Commander, Lian approached cautiously. There's been another incident in engineering. Sabotage, again. Ilara closed, her eyes briefly, the weight pressed down harder. How many more? How deep does this go? Lian glanced down at her datapad. At least 4 confirmed breaches. We're chasing ghosts. The corridors of Savage Dawn had become a maze of suspicion. Vega gathered a squad to patrol. Watch for anything unusual. We can't afford mistakes. Cade tightened his grip on his rifle, eyes scanning shadows. If we don't find the saboteur soon, this ship will tear itself apart. Ilara called for a crew assembly. Her voice was calm, but carried the steel of command. We fight not only alien foes, but the darkness within us. We must stand united, or fall divided. In the mess hall, whispers spread like wildfire. Lieutenant Rin sat restrained but defiant, her eyes burning with a fierce resolve. "You don't understand the stakes," she spat at Ilara. "The galaxy sees us as savages, relics of a dead world. They'll never accept us unless we break every chain, no matter the cost." Ilara met her gaze evenly. "You chose reckless destruction. That is not the path of humanity." Rin's lips curled. "Sometimes survival demands savage choices." Meanwhile, deep below deck, Dr. Voss's lab was a temple of bioengineered horror. Glass vats held writhing forms, creatures engineered from Deathworld genes, fused with nanotech enhancements. A technician approached nervously. "The containment fields are weakening." Voss's eyes glinted cold. "Good. It means the catalyst is working." He moved to a console, activating a series of complex commands. A vial slid into an injector. Inside, a swirling mix of nanobiological agents designed to infiltrate, adapt, and destroy. Back on the bridge, Ilara was joined by her most trusted. "Officers, we need to root out the saboteur. Full lockdown of critical systems," she ordered. Lian's fingers danced over the controls. "I'm initiating enhanced nanotech scans. We'll catch any foreign signatures." Cade spoke up. "And what if they're hiding in the shadows of our own minds?" A heavy silence followed. Ilara's thoughts drifted back to the quiet tension during the alien shipyard raid. Why are they like this, she wondered. The aliens feared Earth's warships, but humans feared themselves just as much. Her comm buzzed. Vega's voice came through, urgent. "Commander, unidentified craft approaching. Multiple signatures cloaked." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Battle stations. This ends now." The hull vibrated as the Savage Dawn powered weapons systems. From the observation deck, Ilara watched the dark shapes materialize. Alien warships, sleek and deadly, closing the distance. Sensors confirmed a familiar energy pattern. EMPs ready. "To disable. We've seen this before," Lian said. "They're trying to cripple us." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Then let them try." Outside, the void exploded into chaos. Savage Dawn unleashed a barrage of plasma and nanotech missiles, weaving through enemy fire with deadly precision. Cade's voice crackled over comms. "They're adapting. New shield frequencies detected." Ilara's mind raced. "Deploy the quantum disruptors. Target their engines." The enemy ships faltered, caught in a sudden cascade of energy pulses. Inside the ship, the sabotage crisis escalated. Lian's scans caught a spike, a nanotech signature deep inside the reactor core. Ilara ordered an emergency team to investigate. "Containment. Breach imminent," Lian warned. "If the disruptor gets there, the whole ship could be lost." The team raced through twisting corridors, the air thick with tension. Vega led, weapons ready, heart pounding. They reached the core where a flickering shadow moved with unnatural speed. "Now!" Vega shouted. The saboteur was caught. Dr. Arin, one of the chief scientists, eyes wild. "Ilara!" Arin gasped. "You don't see the truth. The bioweapon is the future." Ilara's voice was cold. "Your future is death for all of us." Back in the lab, Voss smiled as the containment fields failed. The bioweapons release was imminent. A pulse of nanotech-infused pathogens slipped free, invisible and deadly. On the bridge, alarms screamed. "Bioagent detected," Lian yelled. "It's spreading through the ventilation." Ilara's face hardened. "Seal all sectors. Initiate quarantine protocols." Cade gritted his teeth. This war isn't just fought with weapons anymore. The crew fought not only alien enemies, but an invisible invader within their own ship. Ilara looked to the stars, feeling the weight of all humanity's hopes and fears. "We are the catalyst," she whispered. "The spark that will either ignite our salvation or burn us to ash." As the bioweapon spreads through Savage Dawn, Panic fractures the crew's fragile unity. Ilara faces impossible choices to contain the outbreak and maintain order. Meanwhile, alien forces exploit the chaos, striking with brutal precision. The battle turns into a desperate race against time and against human nature itself. The alarms hadn't stopped wailing since the bioagent was unleashed. Red emergency lights bathed the corridors in an angry glow as air filtration systems hissed, desperately to filter the unseen toxin. Ilara's boots echoed on the deck plating as she moved between command stations, her eyes sharp despite exhaustion. "Report!" she demanded. Lian's voice was strained. "Containment measures are failing. The pathogens mutating rapidly. Nanotech vectors adapting faster than our countermeasures." Ilara's jaw clenched. "How long before it breaches the crew compartments?" "Minutes," Lian answered. Across the ship, chaos erupted. Soldiers stumbled in the corridors, their movements erratic, faces pale. Vega's squad fought to secure the quarantine zones, but panic was contagious. "Hold the line," Yoshi shouted, but voices broke under pressure. She caught sight of Lieutenant Rin, the saboteur's accomplice, moving through the crowd with a sinister calm. "Ilara needs to know," Vega muttered. Ilara's comm buzzed urgently. "Commander, containment breach on Deck 12. We're losing isolation integrity." Ilara's gaze darted to the view screen, showing twisted corridors, flooded with hazy mist, the bioagent's invisible spread. "We have to evacuate non-essential personnel," she ordered. "Seal the bulkheads and initiate emergency purging." Cycles. Down in the medbay, Dr. Rhea worked frantically. Her hands shook as she injected antiviral serums into stricken crew members. "More cases," she whispered. "The pathogen rewrites neural pathways. It's altering behavior, makes them aggressive, paranoid." Ilara stepped in, voice steady but grave. "How many infected?" "Too many." On the bridge, Lian analyzed data streams in a desperate bid for solutions. "Commander, we can try a counter-nanotech swarm, release programmed nanobots to seek and neutralize the bioagent." Ilara hesitated, weighing risk and reward. "If the swarm mutates, it could accelerate infection. We have no choice." As the countermeasure launched, the ship shuddered violently. Explosions rocked the hull. Alien vessels had taken advantage of the chaos. Sensors showed multiple plasma strikes punching through defenses. "We're losing the starboard shields," Idocade reported. "Divert all power to remaining shields and weapon systems," Ilara commanded. The battle outside was brutal, a dance of light and death. Enemy warships exploited their knowledge of Savage Dawn systems, launching coordinated strikes to disable critical functions. Vega's squad scrambled to maintain defense turrets, returning fire in furious bursts. "Keep them off us," Vega yelled. Back inside, paranoia spread faster than the virus. Groups formed, accusing others of sabotage or infection. Ilara's leadership was questioned openly. "Commander," Lian warned, "if this continues, internal collapse is inevitable." Ilara forced herself to remain calm. "We fight not just for survival, but for what humanity stands for." In a darkened corridor, Rin confronted Vega. "You don't see it, do you? The galaxy wants us dead. We must be ruthless." Vega's grip tightened on her rifle. "Humanity isn't savage. We fight to protect, not to destroy ourselves." Rin's smile was bitter. "Then you're already lost." The counter-nanotech swarm waged its own battle beneath the surface. Invisible to all but the most advanced sensors, the programmed nanobots engaged the bioagent in a microscopic war. Lian's voice came over the comms, strained but hopeful. "It's working. The swarm is neutralizing the pathogen, but the victory was short-lived. A sudden spike in bioagent activity triggered violent neural feedback in infected crew members. Vega barely dodged an erratic soldier's lethal strike. "Fall. Back. They're turning on us." Ilara's heart pounded as she faced the impossible. "This isn't just war," she muttered. "It's a crucible burning away our weaknesses." She found herself face to face with Rin in the command hall. "This ends now," Ilara said. Rin laughed darkly. "It never ends, not until the galaxy learns what it means to face Earth's fury." Outside, alien warships tightened their grip, but Savage Dawn still fought, battered but unbroken. Ilara looked to the stars, fierce and unyielding. "We are humanity," she vowed. "We survive, we conquer, we endure." In the final stand, Savage Dawn faces overwhelming alien forces amid internal decay. Ilara leads a desperate gambit that risks everything: humanity's survival, its honor, its soul. Sacrifices forge new legends, revealing the true price of revenge and the hope of mercy. The galaxy will never forget Earth's savage warships again. The void around Savage Dawn burned with fire. Alien warships encircled them like a pack of predators. Plasma lances tore through the blackness. Starboard hull breaches bleeding vacuum into the ship's guts. The once proud warship groaned under relentless assault. Every deck a battlefield, every breath a fight. Ilara stood in the command chamber, her uniform torn, face streaked with grime and sweat. Her eyes blazed with a fierce, unyielding light, the fire of a species that refused to die. "Status," she demanded. Lian's voice was a fragile thread of calm amid chaos. "Shields at 10%. Hull integrity failing in multiple sectors. Bioagent contained but not eradicated. Crew morale fragmented." Ilara's gaze drifted to the view screen. The alien fleet was massive, more ships than she had seen in a lifetime. Their movements coordinated, merciless. The Council had sent its judgment. Earth was a savage, too. Be cleansed. And yet here they stood. Suddenly the lights flickered. The ship shook violently. "Impact on the primary reactor," Cade shouted, eyes wide. Ilara grabbed the console, steadying herself. "We need a final solution. All power to quantum disruptors and nanotech countermeasures. Prepare the emergency launch sequence." A low rumble echoed through the hull as the crew scrambled, some moving to their battle stations, others bracing for the inevitable. In the medical bay, Dr. Rhea worked feverishly to stabilize the last infected. The bioagent was subdued but not defeated. The crew's minds bore the scars of its influence: paranoia, rage, despair. She looked up as Vega entered, face grim. "We may not make it out alive," Vega said softly. Rhea nodded. "But if we don't fight, none of us will." Ilara's voice came over the shipwide comm. "Crew of Savage Dawn, this is your commander. We face the darkest night humanity has ever known. But remember, we are not just survivors. We are the flames that light the universe. Today, we fight not only for Earth, but for the hope of all who dare to dream of freedom." A ripple of resolve echoed back. Outside, the Savage Dawn powered its final gambit. Quantum disruptors charged, generating a massive field of destabilizing energy. Nanotech swarms deployed in dense clouds, swarming enemy engines, cutting circuits and eroding shields. The alien fleet faltered, confusion rippling through their ranks. Ilara took a breath and keyed the command. "Initiate emergency jump protocol. Engage at my mark." Seconds stretched into eternity as the ship's systems hummed and strained. Then, a blinding surge, the Savage Dawn tore through space and time, leaving destruction behind. But the cost was steep. Multiple decks flooded with plasma. The ship's AI warned of critical failures. Ilara barely heard it over the roaring silence inside her mind. She staggered to the bridge, leaning on the console. There, waiting, was the alien Admiral, a towering figure scarred by countless battles, but eyes filled with wary respect. "Human," the Admiral said in a harsh tone, "you have shattered our expectations. Your species is savage indeed." Ilara met his gaze without flinching. "We are survivors. We are warriors. We are humanity." The Admiral nodded slowly. "Perhaps there is merit in mercy." He turned, signaling a ceasefire. In that moment, something shifted, not just in space, but in the endless war between species. The Council's verdict had been challenged by sacrifice, by fire, by the fierce pulse of human defiance. Ilara looked at her crew, battered but unbroken. "We live," she whispered, "not as savages, but as a force to be reckoned with." The stars outside held their breath, and Earth's savage. Warships would patrol the galaxy forevermore, a warning, a promise, a legend.